Bible understands there is going to be that period when the exodus of the church takes place. And we're talking about something that has never been, I've never taught it here. Now, years and years ago, and stuff out here, when I was teaching a lot on prophecies and the prophetical, and when I was dealing with the books of Apocalypse, Daniel, Ezekiel, and Revelation and stuff like this here, and we're really going into those type of teachings and stuff. We were teaching on the Antichrist, the preparation of the Antichrist, the mark of the beast, and all this other kind of stuff. You notice that really you don't hear those messages anymore. And anything that's not talked about is soon forgotten, especially if it's never been talked about. You know, there's not been a conversation that's just been briefly something that just kind of brushed across your ears and nothing in depth in discussion was ever done. You really don't pay too much attention to it. It's strange how the enemy has got our minds affixed to only certain things that we need God for, or we're in search of God for. You know, Lord, if you could get me out of this, Lord, if you could fix this, Lord, if you could just help me to have a peace of mind, Lord. But then we fail to realize, and I was sharing it with those in the car, I said, we fail to realize that blessing us with certain conveniences is only a tip of the iceberg. Because all of these things are just what is a sign of an agreement that God is with us, working for us. But the ultimate prize is to be raptured out of here and not be left behind for the tribulation period. And I said, that's the period of lawlessness. That's the period when God removes his spirit from the earth and stuff, and God himself removes himself from the earth. Church goes on. People in church go on. And stuff like this here. Is this that the item of faith is removed and stuff like this here, which is the Spirit of God. And God's presence is going to be removed. And I said, here's the sad commentary to it. I said, we struggle with coming to give God what is rightfully his when we have the power to make those choices without any kind of strain or any other type of influence. In other words, what I'm saying, hard day at work, I could decide tonight whether I'm going to come to Bible study. Hard day at work today, I'm going to decide whether I'm going to come to prayer. Whatever the case might be. Oh, I'm not feeling good, so, I really think I'm just going to stay home today. See, those are decisions that are made without being pressured. You just decide, well, I'm going to stay home today. I just ain't feeling good, I'm tired, whatever the case may be. There is no pressure that causes you to make that determination. I said, but when the season of lawlessness comes into play, when God removes his spirit from the earth, that means Satan has complete control and complete rulership. Now, look at this, Vernon. I said, that is when Satan comes and says, either you take this mark or you don't eat tonight. Either you take this mark or you lose your house. You lose your car. I mean, it's going to be that critical of a moment that Satan dictates what you live by, how you live by, and under what terms and conditions you live by those or are able to receive those. And here's what it is. There is no God in place. There is no Spirit of God in place, to offset any of these things and stuff. And I said, then you are forced to make a decision You're pressured into making a decision and stuff out of there because now it's about survival. Think about it. You make a decision now because you sneeze. Well, God, I'll see you on tomorrow. Just because you sneezed. You make a decision, well, God, I'll check you the next time, because I'm a little bit tired right now. Just because you work too hard on your job. Are y'all in here? And you make those decisions without being pressured. Now, if you don't survive a relationship with God just because you sneeze, if you don't survive a relationship with God just because you're a little bit tired, are y'all in here? How in the world do you think you're going to survive a relationship with God when it is determining that either you do this or that or you ain't going to eat? Now, you might be able to go hungry 1 or 2 times. Sooner or later, starvation is going to drive you to a place to make a choice. Now, here's the clincher. The clincher to that is only the true church, only the real church will be the ones that will be taken out of here, and God will not permit them to have to go through such a grievous position in life. Only the real church. So now what's your point? So my efforts to push beyond all of these things that I by choice can conveniently say, God, I'll see you tomorrow. My choice to push beyond that and still say, God, I'm a little tired, but I'm coming. God, I'm not feeling all as good as I do. How healthy and how good did the woman with the issue of blood feel? But she was determined, I'm going to keep pressing until I get my miracle. See, what I'm saying is, there are those moments that defines the real church. There's that moment. There are those moments in our life that defines our relationship with God. Are y'all with me? The Bible said something, and this had nothing to do with the teaching tonight. That I just was alluding to some of the discussion that I was having. The Bible said that, and it was something I couldn't hit 85 overpass to get on 85 before the Lord said this. People are failing to realize, except their righteousness exceed, and I had issues with the scribes. I called them, dry, dead bones. I called them people who honor me with their lips, but their heart was far from me. I called them open tombs because I denoted them as being characteristic as a sepulcher. He said, I took issues with them. But except your righteousness, your right standing with God, exceeds theirs, he said, you will in no wise enter into the kingdom of heaven. Wow. Wow. Except your righteousness, except your press. See, here the thing that is, righteousness is part action, but more enforced by attitude of heart. Sandra can be literally sick at home in the bed, but her heart is still chasing God. It's like a person who, hypothetically speaking, tonight's Bible study. You can't be here, but everything about you is. Everything about you. I can't be at the location, but my heart, my mind, and my spirit is so grieved that I can't be there, that I'm seeking God while laying on my sick bed. I am panting. God, you know I want to be at Bible study tonight. God, you know my heart is there. God, see, here it is. It's not about the location of the facility. It's more about the attitude one still has towards God. Now, think about that. Now, God understands there are going to be those moments where you're not physically going to be able to be there. But you spiritually, you should always be in location. Physically, you may not be able to show up. But mentally and spiritually, your desire should put you there, even though your body's absent. But now, whenever you could be sick, and then all you're doing is sitting home sucking on lemon and drinking tea and looking at TV, and your mind ain't nowhere near God. God takes issue with that, because you got to understand, righteousness is not about a location. Righteousness is about an attitude. That's why he says, accept your righteousness. In other words, your actions will accommodate the way you think. And the way you think will accommodate your actions. But if in the event, physically, you can't be at location, you're still there. Because guess what? Our closest walk with God is not physical. Our closest walk with God is spiritual. They that worship must worship him in. God says physically some people are right in the church, but spiritually are so far withdrawn from it. So you could be at the location, but spiritually not be connected. Whereas you can be absent from the location, but spiritually still in his presence. Ooh, God help me. See, it's about the individual person. It's about their relationship with God. It's about how they want God. How they want God. And see, you got to look at a person whose desire is pushed to want to be with God in such a way as a person who God will always protect. You know, and Satan got us caught up in things and forgot that really what we're supposed to be doing is pursuing a place. He got us caught up in the fact, and the thing of it is, the sad thing to that commentary is God made a promise to himself. He said, I'm going to let the sun shine on the just as well as the unjust. So because the sun is shining on you, don't mean you ain't right standing with me. That's a promise I made to the earth. And both evil and good are going to benefit from it. So if you're thinking about it's a sunny day in your life, and that's supposed to make you feel as though God's with you, don't deceive yourself. Because guess what? The crackhead right around the corner, the hustler right down the street, guess what? Is having a sunny day in his life as well. But can he actually say he has a relationship with me? No. Are y'all with me here? And look at somebody and say, neighbor, Satan's after relationship. Satan's after relationship. When you can't be where you know you're supposed to be when it comes to God, you ought to grieve.